Let's listen to my music there. Hello, welcome to the Your Pet Detective Show. I'm Agent Levis, your host. I'm the retired NYPD detective and also a private investigator, mainly on pets. And today we have two special people. There's two different organizations, and their mission is to protect animals, to save animals. And now it's something big in Queens. And in Queens, they're doing animal sacrifices from different religions. It looks like a big hangout in that area. And what they do is they do their sacrifices. They're killing these poor animals. These poor animals are suffering. They even hear animals screaming out there. And then they do is they just throw it in the water, in the ocean, which you're talking about pollution, climate change, environments. I mean, a lot of things are going on. I mean, yes, we do have freedom of religion, and unfortunately, sacrifice is involved, but on animals, but it has to be changed. And anyway, I put you a little show there to show you, and actually have the people speak to you about it.
There's a rooster carcass part, then there's that burnt thing, then there's the barrel, what's on fire, and then there's rooster fat.
Hello there.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you.
Okay. Now let's start off first about who you are. Let's start with Sloan with Zion Mission.
My name is Sloan. I'm with Zion's Mission, and Kim and I are sister rescues. Her rescue is Sasha's mission, so it's Zion and Sasha's mission. We've been rescuing for years and years and years together, and we recently became involved with.
Before you say that, I want to know more of what is Zion Mission about.
So we focus primarily on dogs. We work in the Queens Rockaway community. Kim and I and our team members, we rescue from police, we rescue from owner surrenders, we rescue from abusive situations in our area. We rescue stray animals, we trap animals if animals are lost and people are looking for them, or if there's a lost dog and no one's claiming that dog, we will trap them. And we also do a lot of hospice care for animals that are in the last stages of their life. So we rescue terminally ill animals and give them chemotherapy and things that they need and give them a good time until they're ready to pass on.
Okay, now Kim, what is Sasha Mission? What is about?
It's basically the same thing, and like Sloan said, we basically do everything together. So I mean, I was Sasha's Mission for years, and when I joined forces with Sloan, everybody just remembered me as Sasha's Mission. So it's just I just never gave up the name. But we're basically, if she's there, I'm there.
Two legends.
So
Now let's go and let's talk about how it started. This investigation. I mean, this been going on for decades.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay. I did some research on it, and actually, there was a guy living under the bridge.
Yeah.
His name was Muhammad.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I forgot his last name, but he was homeless guy.
I read his story. Yeah, it brought tears to my eyes reading his story and watching his interview.
And he was actually living there, but he didn't want to leave because the animals are being sacrificed. He was trying to save them and bring it to his place. And they were
Yeah,
actually stealing
I
the
actually
cat.
read in the article that he got housing and he would come back. I believe it said every other day because he was so worried about them.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
mean, this happened like this was 9 years ago. The interview.
Mhm.
And he's been there for 15 years, so
Yep.
it's 24 years we're talking about. So I mean, hopefully he's alive, but it's been a while, and I haven't heard nothing since after that. But how did you get involved? Starting with Sloan, how did you get involved?
So Kim and I, obviously, we're hooked up in the community in terms of what's going on and with local other rescues and local people. And what happened was there was a pig that we heard was rescued in July, and the pig was safely taken by another rescue person. And what happened was we started to hear that there was a second pig that everybody had known about, but they only got one pig. So Kim and I became very concerned, and we were surprised that there was no other rescue in progress looking for the second pig. So when we heard that, Kim and I start going over because we were distressed, worried about this second pig that was allegedly loose. So
Right.
we start going over every day, looking and talking to people to confirm that, yes, in fact, there was a second pig, which we found out. And no, nobody was looking for them. So that's how we started in that spot, right, Kim?
Yep. Yeah. So for a while we were leaving feeding stations. I mean, at that point we didn't know, was the pig sacrificed? Was he dead in the brush somewhere? So Sloan and I would go every other day, I think it was, and we would leave feeding stations and check for prints and try to come up with some proof that he was alive and eating.
And in the midst of that, we start going and really canvassing the beach, walking down trails, trying to look for areas that these people might be doing this in. And lo and behold, we start uncovering these secret sacrifice areas. And once we found that, then we started going every day. And we've rescued a chicken for another rescue that they were looking for, a live chicken. We've rescued, there was a little baby rat that we found tied up in bags with coconuts and chicken bones. And so we rescued that rat. We had to put it to sleep, but we brought them to our vet to put to sleep so they didn't die in a plastic bag. We found the dog with the neck snapped at one of the sites, and we brought that dog to be privately cremated at our vet. Once we start finding all of these things out, and once we knew that there was a second pig in there, we were determined to continue to stay there constantly until we found them, ultimately uncovering the 3 pigs that we rescued last week.
So in total, it's still 3 pigs, right? You found
There's
one
5 pigs.
before.
There's
It
5
was
pigs
five?
that have been taken from there, two prior to us, and we got the last 3 pigs.
Wow.
Mhm.
Now you also have chickens and horseshoe crabs,
And
and
roosters.
so you find them dead and alive.
Hmm. Yep.
Now let's say you say it's animal sacrifice. Can you explain more to what you observed down there as that it's a sacrifice going on?
Mhm. Kim, you want to go?
Um, we have found like the remains of animals. We found the pits that they make to start the fire, where their fires burn. We found oh my gosh, what
We found, so they dig holes, right, Kim? They dig these deep holes, and in some of the holes, they put actually their, whatever you call it, their prayer
yeah,
wishes. So there's like burnt pictures or pictures of whoever they're praying to and the person they're praying for in coconuts, and they burn them in these, put them in these deep ditches. And in some of the ditches are their garbs, so their robes or
right.
whatnot, their statues along with these prayer things. But in some are the chickens, and so some of the holes you'll find are like covered in feathers, and then you'll
Hmm.
usually find a box nearby with blood and chicken feathers and things like that. And they use the holes, we've learned, for the chickens, because the chickens can't be contained when they're about to do the sacrifice. The chickens will run away. So
Right.
they're using them to keep them in the holes and they can't get out. Whereas like the pigs, for example, the reason that we knew there were 3 pigs there was because when we uncovered the secret second sacrifice area, which was a huge, it almost was like 3 in 1. Kim looked to the left and there were 3 crates like shoved down a ditch. And we were like, oh my gosh, there's 3 pigs. Lo and behold, one of the pigs start coming out to Kim, and Kim was like, oh my God, there's a pig. The pig's here. So, and then the next thing we knew coming up from the others, that I'm like, there's 2 more pigs. So Kim was able to loop that one with a slip lead that we had. And then we had to use the crates that they were left in, that they were probably brought in to die in, to actually save them. So we finagled them in the crates with the slip leads one by one. And then we figured out that what they're doing is they do a term called loosed for the animals, because what
was that?
told, it's called loosed, LOOSED. They turn the animals loose for a little while, so to make them suffer. So for example, when the pigs come in, because the pigs are somewhat like dogs in the respect that they're going to stay where they're lost, or if you will, they turn the pigs out. They're baby pigs. They cut their ears and burn them before. They cut off their tails, let them loose. They let them starve, get sunburned. So they're very weak. And they're always circling in that area where they were loose, because that's how, for example, when Kim and I saw them, they were close by to the crates and to that one sacrifice spot. Not any of the other sacrifice spots, but the sacrifice spots where they were let loose. And the reason they do that is because we are told by multiple people that the more the animal suffers or struggles for the sacrifice, the better the sacrifice is to whichever deity, god, whether it's a rogue sect of Hindus that are doing it, or whether it's the, Santeria people who are doing it to the roosters or other animals, or black magic people. The more the animal suffers, the better it is for the sacrifice. That's why one of the pigs that was actually found in a crate by the fire department, I believe, right, Kim?
But yeah, that one was August 11th, I believe.
The fire department was involved in that one, but they were in a crate with spices already rubbed on their body, because they usually burn them alive.
Okay, so this is I'm not getting upset you. I'm getting upset over what's going on, because they're doing animal sacrifice, but they are torturing these animals.
Correct.
Which is animal cruelty, but then is protected by the First Amendment because of the religious rights. I mean, it has to be a borderline.
But it's not protected in Jamaica Bay because it's federal land at Spring Creek Park. It's federal land. The Supreme Court's decision does not affect them being able to do this on federal land.
No, I understand that. I know that's another part. I'm saying is, if they could do this, which I am totally against, because these animals are suffering. And you know what I mean? They're suffering, and it's let go because it's part of a religion.
Right.
They are part of religions that they do in the South, like South America, that they do it to people also, but it's religion. But they say no, you can't do it. They're humans. Mm-hmm. They suffer, but even the animals are suffering too.
Of course, because they're sentient beings as well.
Especially, you know how smart the pigs. You know how smart the pigs are.
Yeah,
they're smarter than
humans. And these pigs, they sound like they're domestic because they actually walked up to you, right?
Yeah, are they usually Yorkshire pigs?
They're yeah, that's what they are. They're Yorkshire pigs. And like the first one came up to me. I mean, he was nervous, but I mean, Sloan has a short video clip of it. I mean, I didn't have to struggle to get him. I mean, I basically looped him. Once he was looped and on the slip lead, then he panicked a little and he was nervous. And that's when Sloan went to check on the other 2 pigs. And I think the only reason they became as nervous as they were is because they weren't all together. So like once we got one into the crate, we dragged that over so the other 2 would see that, oh, your friend is here and this is okay. So they all seemed to calm down once they were all together.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't have words for what's going on. You know,
Did
it's, I
you
mean,
find
we can
any?
keep repeating the story, but the things that we've seen firsthand ourselves, it's, I'm going to start again. It's just something that's never going to leave me,
Right.
you know, and the
That's it.
fact
I
that
see.
it's just gone on so long and nobody's really cared, or people were afraid, or people thought that because it was religion, nothing could be done. It's just, you know, we saved those three pigs and we had our glory moment, like we were so happy for them. But
We
at
did
one point
excellent.
I sat down, you know, next to them, and the one looked me in the face and I was like, my God, how many were there before you right here on this beach?
Yeah.
And how many are there going to be after you when we're not here?
Now, when you were there, did you find anything like goat heads or cow heads or anything like that, horns, and or is it
Um,
just chickens and pigs?
We haven't found a goat head, but we were there. When were we? What was it? Saturday,
There
Sloan?
was a goat head found what, Monday morning?
Monday morning, and then Saturday morning when Sloan and I were there, we found it was like a red cloth. It was tied in four corners, and I opened it, and it was full of rice and black-eyed peas, and I don't know, some other kind of peas. And I shook it up a little when I opened it, and there were six blades in it. So we looked that up, and it's apparently what is used for the sacrifice
Or if
of
one of
which
the
animal
animals
I
eating
don't
to get
know.
cut up?
Yeah, but that was on Saturday, and then we got word that there was a sacrifice sometime Sunday, and then a goat head was found right there where we found that sack with the blades and the rice and everything in it. There was a
Yeah, it
goat
was
head there
found a few days later.
Monday morning.
Now, this usually happens
So
around 2, 3 in the morning. These sacrifices.
We believe that they're happening between like 12 and 6 a.m., depending on which group is doing it. So what we're doing now is we're doing patrols on the weekends, on the Friday and Saturday nights at least, from 12 to 6, in order to try and figure out what's going on. And then we had a rally that was put together by another local person, Angela, and two local people, Angela Katz and Jeanette Tuffy, and they had Councilman Joanne Ariola and Stacey Amato was there, right, Kim? And
mm-hmm.
there were a few other politicians. And within one day, Joanne Ariola had gotten a tower light that's being put in, and they're also going to patrol the beaches on the top. Like they're going to have patrol cars on the top. And we've already seen some patrol cars there, and they're putting in the light for the weekend, and they're going to start there. So that's just the first step. So Joanne is hoping.
Do you say they? Who's they? The feds or the state or the city?
Joanne Ariola, I believe it's a cooperation of the police, National Park Service, Park Police.
Right.
They're along with the council people and different constituents from the community, different leaders who are working with these official groups, the Park Police, the National Park Service, the 100th Precinct, the 106, right, Kim?
Yeah.
And they're instituting changes, but Joanne Ariola spearheaded within 24 hours getting the light. It's going to be a tower light, and getting the patrols for the bridges.
Let me ask you one thing, Kim. Have
Yeah.
you noticed any increases during the years? Is it more now on animal sacrifices than before?
Well,
I'm talking about
I
before
was
the spotlights and that.
You mean like over the years or just the
Yeah.
past couple of weeks? I mean, I grew up in Rockaway my whole life. You know, when we were kids growing up, we would always hear that, you know, there was a rooster sacrifice, a chicken sacrifice. Once in a while, somebody would grab one, but it wasn't every day. It wasn't throughout the entire year. And like I said, that was back in the 80s when we heard about that. But
Right.
I don't know like who that was back then. Was it Santeria? Was it just, you know, sadistic people? But it was on occasion from what I remember. So this to me, this is something completely different. This is, it's almost like they own the beach and they just come and go and do it whenever they want.
So it sounds like it's increased more.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because like I said, years, not that it was something I was ever fully aware of, but you know, you would hear, oh, there was a chicken on Cross Bay Boulevard, or there was a dead bird on the beach that was sacrificed, but it wasn't like the place wasn't known as Sloan now calls it Sacrifice Shores, because now that's basically what it is, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
And now when you go over there, you see a big mess, right? I mean,
Oh
everything
yeah,
is thrown around, nothing is picked up. It's all full of
no,
garbage like outside, right?
Mm-hmm.
and like we said, that's how brazen they've become. They don't, I mean, when they're the majority of the sacrifices are done in those bushes, because if you go in a certain amount of feet, they've cleared it out. There's a clearing where there's no seagrass, it's all grass, and that's where it's done. Some I know are done like to the left of the parking lot. People have seen that, but they leave everything. They leave their, like Sloan said, their garb, their everything that they burnt. They leave the animal carcasses, whatever is left from them, because they know nobody's coming. No one's going to say anything. And if anybody sees it, from what we've understand
Yeah.
and gathered from people, they're too afraid to say anything.
Well, when we caught the 3 pigs on the beach, like we were running around like nuts, chasing pigs with leashes. We had crates. Anybody who was on the beach really didn't give us a second look.
No, Angel, I sat there, right? So I mean, it took us a few hours to get them off the beach because of how far we were from the bridge in the road. And also there was a problem with the crates. They didn't have bottoms. But I said to Sloan, I can't believe how long we're sitting here and people are walking by like it's just another day and there's three pigs on the beach. Like it was normal.
And they know the park police and people in the past have not come down there. So it's sort of like open season for them. They can do what they want. And there's a problem too. There's like twofold problem is that you've got these rogue religious people and or black magic sick people doing these sacrifices. And then you have the average Hindu practices that are going on, which like it's wonderful that other people are bringing community and they're celebrating their different rituals and their different religions and things like that with their little flower ceremonies and things like that. Totally for it, but just pick up your garbage and bring it with you,
But
because
they don't consider it garbage to them. They consider it religious stuff that has to be staying there for whatever reason or spells that they're
right.
doing.
It's not supposed to be
But-
thrown out. So yeah.
But the thing is,
But the thing is,
you're in a different country.
You can't leave piles of garbage. Like, there's just no way, because what we've uncovered by looking and speaking with there are a bunch of the Hindu representatives who are very against animal sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
However, they've explained that when they're doing these other rituals with the fruit and the coconuts and all of this garb and stuff like that, whatever they're offering becomes sacred, and then therefore they can't throw it out because it's not garbage. But that's really something that has to be worked out like ASAP, because granted, they're leaving it there and they don't want to remove it because it's sacred, but they're leaving it there for us to put in the garbage, which doesn't make any sense. So it's ending up in the garbage ultimately. So they need to clean it up or figure out more responsible ways to do their offerings of flowers and coconuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, leaf fruit is fine because the birds can eat it, but you can't be leaving all of the other garbage, because it's polluting the environment and it's hurting the animals that are just there in general.
Oh, the
Yeah,
plastic.
there's plastic left behind. There's a lot of aluminum trays.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
And
everything's
people don't
going
want to
right
go
into
to
the
the
water.
beach.
And that's in the water also, right?
Yeah.
Now let me let you know about you probably do know already about the horseshoe crab.
Mm-hmm.
The horseshoe crab is very important. Is the blood. They have a blue blood. You know that, right? And the blue
We learned
blood
that the other day. Yep.
is poisonous, but it's used by the pharmacy. And to believe it or not, a gallon of this blue blood worth $60,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
And people could actually poach now, try to get these. And what happens is they say, "Oh, we don't the pharmaceutical whatever, we don't kill them because we just drain their blood and we send them back." But the thing, it takes 2 weeks to recover. 2 weeks in the water without recovery, they end up dead.
No.
And they can't breathe and they can't do anything.
It's horrific. And everywhere, and a lot of them are burnt. So they must do a twofold situation where there's internal extractions happening, and then there's something about them being burnt, I think, because
I
they're
looked
always
every.
burnt
I looked.
they're always burnt near these sacrifice areas.
Yeah.
I looked everywhere, and I couldn't find anything. But I did know. So I saw something called a witchcraft spell, which
Okay.
is this right here, and it's for luck and longevity. And they use the shell or the photo itself, and it cleans the place, and they use green candles and seaweed. In case you see that around, you probably say, "Oh, okay, this is witchcraft now."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll have to
But
look for that.
but it says nothing about. Actually, they say you can put a picture.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't say that. For me, I don't think the animal's alive. I think it's like a shell. That's why it actually it was a burned shell, or it
It's
has
definitely
people.
definitely burnt. Definitely burnt.
And then even crabs. They're in the scorpion and the and the spiders, the family. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but and what kind of and what I mean, sacrifice. What kind of religions are there? You got to be 3 or 4 of them, right?
From what Kim and I have uncovered, it's a rogue Hindu sect or a small group of the Hindus that are doing the sacrifice. And there's some Santeria, and then I don't know if the Santeria is separate from the black magic, but there's some sort of
Right.
mix of all of this. There could be more that we don't know about, like we
I
don't,
think I think this black magic dead. Kim disappeared.
what I
Kim, you out there?
there's a black screen.
Oh,
I'm sure she'll pop back in.
there you go.
There she is.
There she
There she
disappeared
goes.
completely.
It's her own magic.
I bless
So
myself before I speak to you guys. So go ahead.
yeah, so I think there's a multitude of groups on the beach. There could be more. Like I said, I don't know everything. It's just what I'm just speaking of what from the eye perspective of what Kim and I have observed ourselves and could figure out by statues and different things that are being left in these areas.
So now let's go step by step. You know, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting worse. It's more polluted.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it seems like the place is abandoned by the feds and the state, but nobody was watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're paying attention
Yes.
to you and Kim.
And other rescuers and other agencies, like in terms of, and now the council people who are involved.
Right, but the thing is started with you guys. And
Yeah, it started
spread
and other local rescues too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then from there just kept spreading and kept on pushing. And you know how it is, especially in election time. They have to listen because you're the
Yes.
voters. And now they say, okay, we got to do something about this. This has to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like those words, but the thing is it going to stop? You have the spotlights, right? All right, go with that.
They're gonna have the spotlights on the weekend.
But you had spotlights there already. Yours.
Yeah, we were there with spotlights. Yeah, we would stand on top of the bridge with huge lights that looked like police lights that light up the entire beach, and we would walk the beach.
You haven't seen nobody around there when you're doing it?
No, there were people on the beach. I believe a few times, but we didn't know at that point that they were way down around the corner. And then the next day we discovered. So now that we know where they are, now we're going back there on the weekend. So now we have to go all the way to the end of the beach. We can't just walk half the beach because we shut down the first three main sacrifice spots. And not only did we clean it out and we cleaned out all of their garb, we put up caution tape around it and we put up signs so that they would stay out of there. And nobody's touched that since we've done that.
You see, it reminds me when I was a cop. They call it omnipresence.
Mm-hmm.
They do is like they have a place called Operation whatever, and they send like 20 cops in 2 blocks, and all those cops are there. It's heavy infested drug location.
Yeah.
So what happens is now it's clean, it's quiet. But what happened? They just went to the next block. They go to the
Exactly.
next block. And that's exactly what's happening with you guys now. You
Mhm.
you got them out of that area, but then moved on and then moved on.
Well, and
They
that's why there needs to be other there's other areas in
welcome.
Kim's back.
Hey, I'm back.
I said
I don't
black
know what
magic
happened.
and your screen went black.
Oh, they're after me.
Um,
I blessed myself before I started this show, so I'm blessed.
well, we have sage now too. In all the things that Kim and I carry, now we have sage.
What do you mean?
Thermal cameras, tasers, sage, lights, boots,
Caution tape,
coffee.
Well,
coffee.
coffee's important. Coffee and a place to go when you finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so what we were talking about is now the protection, like to try to prevent what's going on, which is good for you guys to do this. But the thing is, it has to be more, which is law enforcement.
Oh yeah, we can't do that. We need them to actually follow through and take action, which is hopefully what's going to happen, because we do have a few real people who council people and authorities who we believe, really want to truly help put this to an end once and all. And we do understand they're going to move to different areas, and it's bigger than us. Kim and I can't patrol, for all of this.
It's dangerous. I'm sorry to tell you, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
The
and
way
also we're two people, and we have full-time jobs, and we also have rescue stuff. So, unless they want to hire us full-time, to manage the task force, which would be awesome. We're open to being hired.
Right.
Then, I don't know, people need to take this over, the law enforcement.
But they do it because, I mean, they have machetes. You know that. That's how they cut the coconuts and the goat and the pigs and all that stuff. So they have machetes, and
Yeah.
they have weapons more than that, guns and all that. In a way, it is because with the cartels, they do the sacrifices for they could be blessed and nothing happens to them while they're committing the crimes. Sometimes they do like they disappear, so they use santeria. I know that because they arrested a guy who's doing 40 years because
Oh.
he made himself disappear. He got a santero to make him disappear. And when it worked, he went upstairs and shot the Santero twice and killed him. So, it's a long story, but I made it short. And when I arrested him, I actually, before I arrest him, I had a search warrant to go inside his apartment. And I'm not saying this works, but all I'm saying is the closet caught my eye. I went there, I found bullets and everything, but something's telling me about that closet. But you just think about something, we just keep on doing your work.
Yeah.
So when I arrested him, he was working. He was working in a butcher shop, like nothing happened. He really believed he disappeared. So we locked him up. He came out. I'm talking to him. He says, I was in the apartment with you, right? So you were in the apartment? Yeah, okay. So yeah, I was in the closet.
You
I said,
knew.
what? No, no. A sense. It's not even no. He said, I was in the closet. You were in the closet? I said, yeah, okay. Tell that to the judge. And he did. Gave him 40 years. But but yeah, so they actually believe it that they do disappear.
Mhm.
And the Santeria they do the chicken. The guy did it in his house, so whatever he cleaned his mess up.
Right.
But let me ask you one thing: did you try to use? I mean, you're using outside agencies, which is good. But how about sanitation? I mean, we spoke about it before.
Yep.
Sanitation. I mean, they got sanitation police.
Yeah, Kim
His
was going to
job-
reach. Kim knows somebody that she knows who knows somebody. So Kim was going to reach out. I told her this morning about your idea, right, Kim?
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't even think of that.
because they believe me, they hide. They hide because once I had garbage that I threw out, I had it in the car, so I threw out in the dumpster.
Right.
And out of nowhere, this sanitation cop was running. Freeze, don't move. I got you. I said, what are you talking about? 6 a.m. Then I had to tell him, so I was an undercover cop. I worked for narcotics. And this is our spot. Oh, okay, because people are dumping. So they do hide. They take
Yeah.
it seriously. And
Right.
this right here. I mean, you could be whatever you are, Santero, whatever, but you're still littering. You're still polluting.
Mhm.
And they could get hit. They could even get arrested.
Yeah.
So outside the box is the best thing,
Yep.
you know.
Absolutely. And everybody needs to be involved. Like Kim and I aren't trying to run the show or do anything. We're just we're just naturally loud and we, force issues. So, everybody needs to be involved. And there's a lot of local rescues and local community members and now the council people and everything. So it's like, it's great, So right now we just need to keep the momentum going and keep the pressure on so that, like you said, the authorities are able to take this on as a permanent situation going forward to be mindful of and on the lookout for and to police.
Now, what are they doing now?
The area that we're in everywhere. Because I mean, if we stop it here, what are they going to do? They're just going to move to a new area.
We just spoke about
Right.
that. Yeah,
So-
I did that when I was a cop. We had places called pressure points.
Uh-huh.
So it's a drug infested area in one block, like a 3 block radius. They send 20 cops over there, and that place is clean.
Yeah.
But 3 or 4 blocks away, they
Mhm.
started selling drugs down there.
Yeah.
We just pushed them away, or they push them away from one precinct to another.
Mhm.
Right.
They call it omnipresence. And I'm seeing that's what's going on there. They put spotlights, to have a cop car and all that. I mean, I'm saying because I got experience for 20 years and I'm not knocking off the guys what they're doing. They probably have something else they want to do, but they don't want to share because there's an investigation.
Sure.
But if we just have a car up there with a spotlight and have a spotlight and that's it, that's omnipresence. And they're just pushing those people there to
Yep.
another spot and they're still killing animals.
Yep. The big picture, but ultimately the Supreme Court has to overturn what they ridiculously voted on in 1993. So because
Well, it has
animals
to be-
shouldn't be a part of any religious sacrifice here, at least,
It has to be articulated in the words for they
Yeah.
could change their minds.
Mhm.
I really believe they should change animals from property.
Mm-hmm.
Animals considered
They
property.
should be, if they were sentient beings, they would have a lot more
Well,
rights.
the thing is, for being beings, for humans, for people, is too much. We don't want them to be equal of us. You see the
Oh, I
kind of
want them to
mind
be
they're using?
equal, but they are equal to us, so they have to be
I
equal to
understand,
us.
but the majority don't think that way. But I really say is to start it off, is to call it living properties. Because a desk, a chair, if you kick it, you get hurt, right?
Right.
So it's dead already. But living is different because now you're telling people it's a living property which has feelings and which feels pain. It's not a regular property. It's a living property. And if think that way, it's starting the edge of the say, okay, this thing is alive.
I see. You're coming from a baby step sort of mindset to
Articulate.
slowly change people's mind.
And
Whereas
since you
Kim and I
have,
just like we're just slapping people in the face. That's how we act.
but yeah, but that's what's going on. That's forget about them. They don't know what that's his only property. I don't care what they say. But the thing of the truth is, they have feelings. They hear the screams, and a lot of these people hear the screams of the pigs or whatever, and they don't say nothing, but they feel bad inside. They feel something because they're human, but they don't spread out. And if they do say something, they say something stupid like, it's only an animal. Really,
Well, a lot of the people on the beach, Kim and I have discovered, are afraid because they're on the beach with these people all the time and they know who they are. So, a lot of these people aren't saying things out of fear, but they are speaking to us now. And we've had a lot of support now from the fishing community who was at the rally on Sunday, who was actually happened to be cleaning up the beach at the time. And so we're all connecting. So it's a lot of good bridges that we've built by doing all of this with the community, other community members, other local rescues. Like there's bridges being built in different ways, we believe, that weren't built before, right, Kim?
Yeah. Yeah.
which is good. But now that you have politicians on your side,
Uh-huh.
and it's election time, if you let them know about changing the rules on animals to make a living property, and that would change, and then it would say, well, we have to make bigger laws. You're absolutely right. They feel something. They're not just property. And they probably even change the word property to living something,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be better because it better step up.
Yeah.
and that's what we want to stop what is going on.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a meeting on the 24th, right, Kim? Like a roundtable more situation.
Yes.
Or is that just the meeting? I don't know. There's a meeting and then slash like a roundtable where there's rescuers, community members, and the political powers that be.
Good, good, good. Because I also going after for decades, but they listen to me go from one end to another of domestic violence with the animals.
Yeah.
They say, well, we got order protection. Order protection doesn't even work on humans. It's definitely not going to work
Yeah.
on animals. It's a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Right.
And if they arrest somebody like they do with humans, if you bring in an animal, it's part of your family. Period. Okay, and you bring this animal in. It's not like the animal meets you and you go out on a date. You bring them in. It's like almost forcefully, and now you treat them to control your family. Whatever you do to that animal, you should go to jail right away, just like domestic violence.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what I wanted. I've been saying it for like 15 years, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, keep me updated on this
Okay.
because it's very important for me. You know, I mean, I love animals, and this. Let me just leave it like that because this is a family show.
Yep.
But thank you for coming,
Thank you so much, Angel.
and thank you, Kim.
It was nice
And
seeing.
oh, nice seeing you again. Yes, I should go to one of those shows again, one of those fundraisers. I haven't gone one
Right.
for a while. I had
Well,
a
if we
lot
go,
of fun back then. Huh?
I said if we go, we'll call you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But people, please, I mean, I don't see animal sacrificing and religion together. There's been other religions like the body of Christ and the blood of Christ. They've been used wine instead of real blood. I mean, times are changing and animals are living, okay, close to beings or beings. Animals have to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be taken care of. You can't torture them for the sacrifices for religion.
Yeah.
And people, please spay and neuter your pets. And do you know where your pets are?